The Little People and the Big Lie. If the ego ever wanted proof of its own insanity, it could point to Peter Craig. Season 3, Episode 29 of The Twilight Zone. The Little People is not about aliens. It's not about spaceships. It's about what happens when a man looks at his own smallness and decides the only way to feel big is to crush what he thinks is beneath him. Peter Craig, co-pilot and malcontent, lands on a barren canyon floor with his commander, William Fletcher. Fletcher works on repairing the ship. Craig wanders, sulks, and dreams of power. He tells Fletcher, "I'd like to be the #1 straw boss. I'd like to give the orders." Soon he finds a city of microscopic people no larger than ants. He teaches them mathematics. They fear him. He declares himself a god. And here the mirror flips. The ego's fantasy of monotheism, only room for one god, is exposed. But it is not God at all. It is a tiny, terrified fragment screaming for dominion. A Course in Miracles teaches that the ego seeks to replace God, knowing it can never be God. That is why its rulership is always violent, always hollow, always destructive. Craig delights in terror. He crushes their buildings. He commands their worship. He forces them to build a stone statue in his own likeness. Fletcher sees the truth and tells him, "You're no god, Craig. Maybe you've made them believe in the devil." This is the metaphysical punchline. The ego can only manufacture idols and devils, never truth. When Fletcher finishes the repairs and is ready to leave, Craig draws a gun. Fletcher warns him, "You're going to die of loneliness." But Craig refuses. He clings to his delusion. He screams at his tiny subjects. He hurls the statue's broken head at their city. He declares, "Don't you understand? I am the god." Then comes the holy reversal. Two colossal astronauts land, so vast they dwarf Craig the way Craig dwarfed the Little People. One of them picks Craig up like a bug, accidentally crushing him. His body is discarded, meaningless. The Little People rejoice, toppling the statue onto his corpse. A perfect mirror, he crushed, then was crushed. Rod Serling closes the circle. The case of navigator Peter Craig, a victim of a delusion. In this case, the dream dies a little harder than the man. A small exercise in space psychology that you can try on for size in the Twilight Zone. The metaphysics are clear. The ego believes that power comes from making smaller, weaker, and terrified copies of itself. But real power is not domination. Real power does not require fear, obedience, or statues. The ego's so-called greatness collapses the moment a greater illusion appears. As Craig learned, there's always something bigger, always another level of the dream. And that dream ends in death. True power, the power of God, the power of love, is not comparative. It is not bigger than. It is not smaller than. It is sameness. It is brotherhood. It is equality. If Craig had seen the Little People as his equals, he could not have harmed them. If the ego could recognize the sonship as one, it would cease its murderous illusions. The lesson of the Little People is not about size at all. It is about perception. The ego calls itself a god while trembling with emptiness. The Holy Spirit gently laughs, knowing that nothing real can be threatened and nothing unreal exists. In that recognition is peace. And so we return to the canyon floor. One man thought he was God. One man was swallowed by his delusion. The Little People toppled their idol. The giants walked away, indifferent. And the truth stood quietly beyond it all, untouched. This is the Twilight Zone. Submitted for your approval. 1 Peter Craig. A man so small he had to make himself a god just to feel he existed. But gods who crush are not gods at all. They are only dust waiting to be blown away. Perhaps the real little people were never in the canyon at all. Perhaps they were the thoughts in a tiny mind that mistook itself for heaven. And perhaps, just perhaps, the only giant here was truth.